Okay, hello, you guys. So happy to be here with you, most likely on the recording here or the replay. And I first and foremost just want to say thank you so much for your flexibility and your understanding as far as me having to shift the dates and the times. I know that that kind of threw some of you off. I know that I don't take that lightly. And I promise, like, I'm just so appreciative. And I would not have done that had I not really felt that I couldn't, like, if I could have been here 100% for you, I would have been here. So we're going to wrap this program up. This is going to be our last call together. Right now, it's just me on this call, so this may very well just be me recording this and sending the replay out to you, and that is totally, totally fine. But either way, whether people are going to pop on in just a minute or whether you're catching the replay, we are going to end this Launch Like a Boss session season program strong and solid. And we're going to be talking today about one of my very favorite topics to talk about, which is sales and selling. And I really could, and I probably will in the future, do a whole program just on selling because it's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And it's something that when people would ask me those first like one and a half, 2-ish years in my business, they would ask me, Sandy, like, you look like you're really crushing it. You look like you're doing really well. What was the biggest thing for you that allowed, like, that kind of like catapulted you, that had you start to snowball, that had you really start to move and get clients in your business? And my answer always, always includes I learned how to sell. Like, that's just it. Because I was literally the person who was terrified of selling, like, terrified. Like, I'm going to pee my pants. I am I hated talking about money. I hated asking for money. I hated telling people the investment price. Objections were basically like the plague. Like, I wanted to avoid them. If I got an objection, I looked at it as like something, they don't like me, or something's wrong with me, or I'm not a good coach, and all of that stuff. So I always love talking about sales and sharing my journey, because I want you to know that if you are a person, or if you are in a place right now where selling feels really uncomfortable to you, if it feels very much like you would rather go get a root canal at the dentist than sell your offer, I just first want to like say I get you, and that is normal. I think for us, who as people, as humans who don't have a background in selling, right? Like, I don't know how to sell anything. Like, I don't have a sales background. I don't know. I didn't know until I specifically was like, okay, if I have this amazing offer and I'm going through this launch process and I'm doing this thing and I want to fill this offer up, and my like energetics and my mindset and all of those things, my strategy is all in the right place, I have to be able to sell this offer. Like, I just have to. So, I'm going to walk you through today some things that are going to help you sell your offer throughout your launch. It's going to be the perfect combination, just like always with me, of mindset and also the strategy part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to do my best to keep my eye on everything else. Okay, so I should be sharing my screen now. And I am going to, so what to expect today. So, like I said, the goal is going to be to sell your offer throughout your launch period. Okay. And when you are launching, essentially, that's what you're doing. You are selling your offer, right? And we're going to talk today all about conversations that don't feel really icky. We're going to talk about personal invites that actually convert into sales. We're going to talk about selling as a service. We're talking about detaching from the outcomes. You guys know I love that topic. And owning your value and showing up just unapologetically. That's really where it's at. So, this is what the doc looks like. I'm going to be toggling back and forth between the document from today and also the presentation slides. This is the wrong picture, so just ignore that. It looks like it didn't get swapped over, but I will drop the doc, of course, in the Facebook group and in the follow-up email that you get, so you can go through this. There's a lot of really great stuff in this today. But my intention for you today is to really show up and learn how to unapologetically So, without any hesitation, without feeling guilty, without feeling like you're going to annoy anybody, sell your offer confidently. And I recognize that there is a lot that goes into that. That statement is pretty like a simple statement, right? Like just show up, sell unapologetically, sell your offer, sell it confidently. But there's just so much. It's just such a loaded thing to be able to do. And there's a lot of different layers to it. So, again, like I said, we're going to talk mindset, we're going to talk strategy, and we're just going to dive in. And remember, our Telegram space is going to be open for one more week. So, it's open until next Thursday. Like, I'll close it out in the evening, my time. So, if you do have questions, or if you have something that comes up in regards to anything that we talk about today, or anything that you're noticing in your business, or anything that has happened to you, maybe you've had a situation in the past that you would like to like debrief, please feel free to drop it in there, and get some support around that. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to pause this, and then I'm going to check just to make sure I don't have any notifications so I'm not missing anybody, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're all good. I checked Facebook, Instagram, and my email. I think we're okay. I know everybody's just busy, and also full disclosure here, my kids are home with me now. So I don't know like what's going to happen here. Okay, so let me go back to my slides. So our intentions are set, and the first thing that I believe that we need to talk about today are our money beliefs that are tied to sales. And I'm sure you've heard people talk before about your money mindset and all of that stuff. And I remember for me, I remember people saying to me like, "Yeah, you got to like, dig into your money mindset." And I was like, "Nah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Like it's good. Just tell me how to sell. Tell me what to do." But your money beliefs and your money mindset is very, very deeply connected to your to the way that you sell and the way that you're able to show up and to sell. So in this doc here, you'll see this is the very first part of the doc under this money beliefs little heading right here. And this is the first thing that we need to dive into. And the reason for this is, and the shift here is that you own a business, right? And part of owning a business, girl, is that means that you have to just be able to sell what you have. It would be so nice if, like in the perfect world, if we just put an offer out there or we threw it up and then people just like started buying without us having to go out and like ask people like without us essentially having to do anything, right? That would be really nice. But especially in the coaching industry right now, and even service-based businesses, people are needing a little bit more love, a little bit more trust, a little bit more care, a little bit more of a push. And when I say push, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that that's just how the industry, like what the trends are looking like right now. Um, Probably 5 years ago, people were kind of just buying and going, and I think a lot of people got burned when they did that, and so there needs to be a little bit more trust and a little bit more of a nurture process, I guess, as far as your what you do to sell your offer, especially something like coaching, where it's sometimes hard to describe, what the tangible outcome is. It's not like they're buying like I don't know, like a hat where you're like, "Here's the hat, pay this much, get the hat." Like, it's a little bit different because a lot of the things that we do inside coaching are internal and they're not tangible. You don't hold them in your hand, but we also know too that they are life-changing, and that is on us as business owners and as coaches and as people who are building brands to be able to express that and share that, and also not only that, but anchor into that and believe in that. So if you like if you're a person who is like thinking like, "Oh, I don't want to be salesy or I don't want to be annoying or oh my gosh, like I've already sent an email out about this offer that should be enough, right? Like people should just be buying." You most likely, if you've ever thought any of those things, like I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to annoy anybody, I've already showed up, I don't like all of these things that happen in our heads, you most likely have some money beliefs that you may need to start to just dig up and pull apart and address. And I don't want you to like worry or think that like this is like it is and it isn't like a massive undertaking, right? Like because the money beliefs that we hold on to are so deeply rooted and they're so in there that you probably don't even realize that they're there. And I'm going to share some of these things with you, some of my experience with you. But what I've found in regards to money and money mindset and your relationship with money and money beliefs is that it's an ongoing like process, just like any relationship that you're building, right? Like let's say you're dating somebody new, you're going to do all these things to, create that relationship essentially. It's the same with money. You kind of just got to dig in and be prepared to continue to dig in, because once you uncover one thing and untangle that, then there's another thing that was kind of on the tail end of that you didn't even know was there. So here are some questions. I put some questions in the doc here to help just guide this discovery. And this is absolutely not meant for you to like answer all of these questions right now, right away, or like have an answer to each one, or, whatever. It's really just about bringing these things to the forefront in your mind and to begin to, again, like we said, untangle these thoughts and these beliefs and how they might be stalling you or hindering you from, like I wrote in the doc, like going balls to the wall in your business and in your sales conversations. Because if some of these things were not there or did not exist, then you would be able to show up. Like if you think about what it would be like to show up if you were not scared about selling, or if, I mean, even just scared about visibility, it's a lot different than when you're holding on to these underlying beliefs. And a lot of times our subconscious mind, it does not like, it's running the show, and we don't know that those beliefs are there until we consciously begin to connect and put the dots together and think about that. So these questions are designed to do just that, to start to bring these things that might be stalling you or hindering those sales or even those conversations, or you showing up really, really boldly and really, really proudly to the forefront. So, what biases are you bringing to the table? Like, I remember when I first started coaching, my coaching business, my ideal client was a teacher. Like, I just work with teachers. I still do work with teachers, and I love, love, love working with teachers. But that was really like I had narrowed in on, like, I want to work with a teacher who really wants to leave the classroom, and I'm going to help her do that essentially. I'm going to help her make a plan to do just that. And so but the bias that I was bringing to the table here, and I say this with like love and care, of course, because I was a teacher, but the bias was that like teachers aren't going to want to spend money. Teachers don't make a lot of money. Teachers don't have money to spend. And I was saying that from a place of like, because I lived it, right? Like I was in that. And it actually wasn't true. And by bringing that bias to the table, it was skewing all of my conversations. So even if somebody would come to the table or come to a discovery call with me and say, maybe she's a teacher and she was like ready to invest, I'm still bringing that energy and that bias to the table and thinking that she's not going to want to invest, that I'm going to have to convince her, all of these things. And then the conversation went very, very different had I not had this specific bias. Okay. So, and it was funny because I was a teacher at the time, and I was investing in coaching, and I was spending a lot of money investing in myself at that time to get that support. And so it's like I almost like made myself the exception to the rule. Like I was like, "Oh, you're the only teacher in the whole like planet that wants to spend money on coaching." Like, no, there's lots of people out there. So we have to kind of just notice those and be like, "Wait, are these true all the time? Are these biases true all the time?" Like, and most likely, probably they're not. Okay. So, what biases are you bringing to the table? And that's a great, I mean, the money stuff can be uncomfortable to talk about. Like, nobody really wants to talk about it. But all of these questions would be really great ones to bring into the Telegram space if you want to talk them through. And I can actually give you coaching around them. The second one is, how do you feel about spending and making money? So if you're a person too, I know for me, my limiting belief, or my belief around this, was that making money has to be really hard. And that came from, again, years and years, decades of teaching, where I was being severely underpaid for the amount of work that I was doing. And all of my colleagues were. That was just like the norm. And so making money, making this very minimal amount of money, it was hard. It was very hard. It was a lot of emotional strain. It was a lot of um, like time. It was a lot of like my money going into my classroom and my students. And so to me, the belief was that making money has to be hard. So you would think like, okay, cool. Like you're not like you left your teaching job. Now you're a coach. That belief would just stay there, but it didn't. It came with me. It came very much with me into my coaching business. So what I was like subconsciously doing was making it really hard for myself to make money because that's just what that's the underlying like programming that my subconscious mind was running on, right? Is it's hard to make money. So I had to detangle that and move forward in this way of like, no, it gets to be easy to make money. It actually is easy to make money. You actually do get to be compensated and paid for your time, and that gets to be like okay, that gets to be safe. So, how do you feel about spending money? If you're a person too that's like you hold and you save and you don't want to spend, you're going to come to sales conversations assuming that people are like that as well, or that there are other people. Like, you're not going to be as open to helping somebody make a really powerful decision in a sales conversation. And this is not a bad thing. Like, if you like to save money, that's not a bad thing, but it's just really looking at where these feelings and where these beliefs are showing up and how they might be affecting your conversations that you're having, both in-person conversations and conversations in the DM, and how you talk about your offer through your content in emails, in your messaging, all of that. It's all connected, which is so crazy. So number 3, what assumptions are you making before even getting into conversations, before creating content around your offers? So these are kind of all, they're similar, but they're just worded in a different way. What are you assuming? Are you assuming that your audience is full of like broke people who don't want to buy and who are like going to need to be convinced? That's going to have you showing up very, very differently than if you're assuming that your audience is like hanging on every word and they've got their credit card in their hand and they have this problem and they're ready to solve it and they're just looking to find the like perfect fit in the right person. Like, it's a very, very different energy, right? Number 4 is, what have you been taught about asking for money? Ooh, this is a good one. Um, like I said, like we could do a whole like session just on this one question, because if you go back to when you were a kid, like what did you see growing up around you? What was happening? What are from that? What do you now assume about money, about making money, about asking for money? Like what does that look like? I know for me, I've had so many moments where I have dug these things up with my own mentor and in different coaching spaces. And I'll just have this like, oh my gosh, this like aha moment of like, oh shit, like no wonder why this pattern keeps happening, because this is what I saw growing up, or this is what I believe, not because I actually consciously believe it, but because that's just been embedded in me since I was a really, really little girl. I mean, even with the whole making money is hard. Like, I remember my mom, like, she was a single mom at one point and she would work so hard at a job that she just absolutely hated. And she would work like overtime and work on weekends just to like, make sure that I got to do the things that I wanted to do, and do my extracurricular activities and all of that stuff. And I mean, seeing that, of course, I'm going to believe and think that, yeah, making money has to be hard. And if you don't, put blood, sweat, and tears and you don't hate your job, then it must not be worth it. Right. So it's just, it all kind of connects. And you have these moments where you're like, oh my gosh, like this is it. This is what, this is why it is. But the beauty in that is when we shine a light on it, we can begin to say like, oh, that's actually not the case, and here's evidence of why it's not the case anymore, or it doesn't have to be the case anymore, and here's the example, or here's what I want to set for my own kids, and you get to decide and move from there. Number 5, have you ever felt annoyed at being sold to? We probably all have felt this at some point, right? Like you're buying a new car, or you're the solar guys. I know they always come to my door like they're selling me solar and they're so good. And so many times I'm almost like, okay, but I don't need solar. But why do you feel annoyed? Like, what is it about it that you feel annoyed? I know sometimes I don't so much feel annoyed anymore, as more as I just much just I just like laugh about this, but having those DMs, those cold DMs, and like the cold messages in your DMs of like, you're just like, you don't even know me. You have no idea. I've had them come through with like the wrong name written. So it was clearly just like a copy and pasted thing. That doesn't feel good. And I asked this question too because if you can understand why you feel annoyed about it, you can also like you can say, "Okay, I don't wanna do that." It's just like being in spaces where you're looking around and you're like, "This doesn't feel good." Like as a client in my coaching spaces, I'm gonna make sure that nobody feels this way. It's the same in your sales conversations. If you're feeling icky or you're feeling like, "Oh, that was kind of gross," then you get to decide, "Okay, I'm never gonna make anybody feel like that." Okay, I'm going to do things differently and I'm going to do things from a very heart-centered place versus like, spray and pray, copy and paste, solar sales guy type vibes. Okay. Number six, what do you believe about money? Here's another one. This can go in so many different directions. There's like coming from a place of scarcity, there's never enough of it. There's never, like, it always runs out. It's really hard to make. For me, again, this was one with tied to teaching, right? That was a big part of my identity. But there's just never like it seemed like there was never enough. So like asking for a raise or asking for more money, that was frowned upon because you're doing it for the kids and you're here for the kids and you should be doing it like with your heart and you should like, don't ask for money. That makes you like not ladylike. Now I just, like, roll my eyes at that, but again, it's like, okay, it's no wonder why, like, you come and you get on a sales conversation, and if I believe there's never enough money, and I believe there's never enough resources, and I'm like, that's just my underlying, like, that's just how it is belief, then of course I'm gonna project that, and the people on the call are gonna come to me and say, I can't afford this. I don't have enough money." Of course that's gonna happen. So when I can start to shift this and be like, "Okay, wait, let me find abundance everywhere. Let me find like where I see abundance in this world. Let me find evidence of where it's easy to make money. Let me find evidence of where there actually is enough and where it flows and it comes in and out." That's when that belief begins to shift. Okay. And then the last one is, what are you assuming about your ideal client? This is kind of tied to that first one that I talked about in your biases. So, are you assuming that they don't have enough money? Are you assuming that they're not going to want to invest in themselves? Are you assuming that they are going to need to be convinced to work with you? Um, Dig those up, like write them out, and then ask yourself, is this true for every single person on this planet? The answer will be no, for sure. And it helps you again begin to go, okay, if I believe this, what do I want to be believing? What would be a more powerful belief that I can replace this old belief from? Well, a more powerful belief would be something like, my ideal client is to ready to solve this problem, and I get to be the person that's going to help her solve this problem. So how lucky am I? Like, this is an opportunity for us to come together and work together from a place of power and confidence and excitement, not from a place of like convincing or dragging them along or bait and switching or anything like that. Like, no. So we begin to replace those money beliefs, those old beliefs that were not serving you, with these new ones. Okay. So let me go back. That's a little bit on the money belief. So take some time with this. And again, you're not going to know these answers like right away. You're not going to, this is an ongoing process. I'll say, like, I'm however many years into my business and I'm still digging these up. I'm still figuring out new things. I'm still like, learning new things about myself and about my beliefs and what I saw growing up and what I see around me even now, and learning how to change those patterns and shift those things. Okay. So now let's talk about redefining sales. So, like, I know, like we just talked about, that selling can feel really icky for a lot of women. And I want to talk about how to shift that. Because if you feel like selling is icky, obviously, again, you're going to show up from this like tiptoeing place of like, oh, I don't want to like offend you. I don't want you to think that I'm like trying to like scam you. Like, and none of that. And this really comes back to anchoring into your why and your purpose. So if you can The only reason that things feel icky too in selling is when one person is getting, like, more of something out of it, is getting more benefit out of the transaction than the other person. So, like, just let that sit for a second. I remember when I first heard this, I was like, "Wait, what?" So let me say that again. It only feels icky when one person in this transaction is getting more of a benefit from the transaction than another person. So let me just use like a car salesman here. So like if the car salesman is like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you this really good deal, $10,000 for this car." And you're like, "Okay, cool. Like $10,000, that sounds like a great deal." So you hand over your 10K. The salesperson is like, "Awesome. Here's your keys." Like, "Okay, goodbye." And you drive off the car sales or the car lot or whatever. And then you come to find out that the car is actually about to break down. The engine is smoking or bad. I don't know a lot about cars. I don't know why I use this example. But and actually, then you look it up in like the Kelly Blue Book or whatever, I think that's what it's called. And you see that this car is actually only worth $1,000. That's icky, right? That's icky because that car salesman knew, most likely knew that that car was only worth $1,000 and he blatantly charged you $10,000 and now he's getting more out of this transaction than you are. Like you're walking away out $10,000 with this crappy car that doesn't even, work and the engine is smoking. Okay, cool. So that's why it feels icky. So if you can shift this and you look at what you do as a really, really incredible life-changing thing that you're giving someone. You're literally changing their life. And there's no question within you that this is worth every single penny. So, and when we think about this, we think about the client that is like, or your ideal client, your unicorn dream client that is like, shows up 100% to her to the sessions, does all the homework, is eager to learn, takes in everything that you're saying, goes and does her homework or implements what you guys are working on together, and she comes back and she debriefs and she wants to know more and she's just really in it. That's the person we're thinking about. Okay, we're not thinking about the person that is like half in, half out. Think about this like unicorn client, and then think about if that person shows up and you're saying, "Okay, my services are X amount, we'll just use $1,000. My services are, or even $10,000. My services are $10,000 for the year. We're going to work together over this year." If you truly anchor and believe in your work and what you do, then there's no room for anyone to say, "Oh, well, she got more out of this transaction than I did." Like, there's absolutely no room for that. And so that's why I say, and that's why we started off in the very beginning of this program with defining and looking at your transformation and what you do and your secret sauce and why you are the most like amazing person to lead someone, to lead your people through this. Can you lead everyone through this? Probably not, because not everybody is going to be your person. We're talking about your unicorn people, and your unicorn people are going to be different than my unicorn people. Like, so there's just so much abundance all around. So that's why, like I said, we start in the beginning of this program with anchoring to that. And that's something that you have to clean up on the back end. That is not something that is going to be like solved or fixed by anybody else outside of you. Okay. So it's you that has to anchor into why your work is so damn amazing and why it's worth every single penny. Because if you think of all of the love and all of the support and all of the beautiful things that you guys are going to create over this time together, it's like, I don't know. I just think about it and I'm like, yeah, I would pay like 10 times that. Like, of course she's going to pay that. Of course she's going to do that. There's no room for like, oh, what if she can't afford it? Or what if she thinks it's none of that? It is like, no, no, people invest in what they see is important. And that's also why we spent so much time in this program talking about ways to convey that outside of the transformation, ways to convey, or not outside of the transformation, outside of the logistics that focus on the transformation, because that's what people are buying. That's what people want. And people spend money where they see value and what's important to them to solve their problem. And you guys have probably heard me use this example before. But if somebody said to somebody, I don't know, whoever, if somebody said, "Okay, tomorrow you can have lunch with Taylor Swift if you pay $10,000. You get to have lunch, just you and Taylor Swift for like an hour. You get to go like have lunch with her, talk to her, take pictures with her, ask her anything you want, spend time with her, whatever." You bet your ass like you're gonna go find the $10,000, right? You're gonna go to your savings. You're gonna go ask your mom for help. You're gonna go, find that bond that was buried from when you were 5. You're gonna go take a loan out from the bank. You're gonna put it on your credit card. Like, people are gonna do what they need to do. They're gonna find a way to make it happen. So sales then, from that space of like, okay, it's my job, not anybody else's job. It's my job as the coach to define and to convey and paint the picture of how amazing my work is. That's on you. Then it shifts. You shift. Whoops. Just trying to keep an eye on the participants here, make sure nobody is showing up, or nobody's in the waiting room. What you shift then is, it's not pushing. You're not pushing somebody to do something or trying to like convince somebody or um like scam someone or con someone into doing something. You're just guiding them, and you're just simply sharing what you do and why it's so great. And you're going to go, you're going to move anyways. It's just a matter of allowing them the opportunity to make a decision if they want to come along with you or not. It's happening no matter what. Like, you're going no matter what. And it's up to them. Again, it's up to you to help them make that really confident, powerful decision, um, to decide if they want to move forward, right? Um, like your offer is essentially a solution to a problem that they've been trying to solve and that is nagging at them, and that is so annoying, and that they are just like, God, if this was just not there anymore, my life would be so much better. What is like it is actually a disservice. I say this all the time to you guys. It is a disservice to not offer, to not sell, to not give somebody this opportunity to come with you. That is the disservice. This is the example I love to use too. Maybe you've heard me say this before too. If you're sitting at lunch with like your best friend and you guys are eating lunch and you're having a great like little lunch margaritas and chilaquiles, whatever, and she says to you, "Oh my gosh, like I just have this headache. I've had this headache since this morning. Oh, my head is just like throbbing. I wish it would go away." If you're sitting there and you have Tylenol or ibuprofen in your purse, you're not just going to go, "Oh, I'm sorry you have a headache." You're going to reach into your bag and you're going to be like, here's the solution to the problem. Take this. Like, it's the same with your coaching, you guys. It is the same thing. So we have to get to a place where we're able to really lead from a place of service and leadership and love. Okay? Not from like these grimy, I'm going to be annoying, I'm going to piss people off, I don't want to ask for money. That doesn't exist. That does not exist anymore. From this moment on, that is not a thing. So what happens is, when you lead with service, so selling is service, I know you heard that thing, but when you're leading from that place and you actually believe it and you are embodying that, sales just really feel like a natural extension of your values. And I just want to remind you too, like, this was not always true for me. And some of you have told me, some of you actually inside this program have told me, yeah, I've seen you kind of do some of these things. Oh, hold on one second. Nermeen is here. I'm glad. Hello, hello, Nermeen. Welcome, welcome. You don't have to turn your camera on if you don't want to.
No, all good. Was
Are
it
you
2:30? Right?
I don't know,
No?
what time zone are you in?
Eastern?
Yeah, so yes, you had the right time. No worries. It's just me here. So I'm
Oh,
always so
cool.
happy to have you. So yeah,
I
welcome. I
thought you
was
were
just kind
helping
of going
me.
through.
I was like, maybe I can help on for the last like half hour.
No, 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 you're fine. You're all good. I'm so happy to see you. I sent you a message on Instagram too.
Yes, I
That's
got
just a
it.
like side note. But yeah, so I'm just going through the training here, but kind of by myself. So I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep going, and you can take it. You can watch the beginning to the replay, all of that good stuff. But it's great to see you here. So I was just talking about how sales are really an extension of your values and and your service, like this beautiful thing that you offer. And what I was saying is that some of you have told me I wasn't always like this. I was not always like, yeah, selling, like let's sell, let's do this. I was very much like very I would like avoid selling. Like I said in the beginning of this session, I would avoid it. Like I would do anything to not have to be in these like what I perceived as uncomfortable situations. The only reason it was uncomfortable is because I was making it uncomfortable. Okay. And some of you have told me, I see you doing these things, and you've actually done some of these things with me, but it didn't feel icky. And the reason that it didn't feel icky, or I never intend, like, I don't want it to feel icky. The reason is because I come at sales from a place of love and care and not from a place of pressure. I am never trying to pressure anyone. I was just on a call the other day and I was like, look, like, I am not here to convince you. I am not here to like try to like get you to sign up. I want that decision that you make to be from a place of confidence, a place of power, and really truly a place of excitement where you are like so thrilled to be in this space and to be so excited to be here. And that doesn't come when it comes excuse me, from like a place of pressure. It just doesn't. And so that has been completely removed with this work that I've done over the years. And it's all of those questions that I shared with you in the beginning that are on that doc. Okay. And sales really is not about getting anything, right? If you can switch this and you can kind of shift this, it's about giving people an opportunity to invest and to believe in themselves. That in itself is a gift. And a lot of times the transformation actually begins for a lot of coaches when people decide to invest in themselves. That's the moment that begins to shift things for them, because it's scary. And I was just talking to somebody about this. Like it's like that mini freak out moment where you press that, okay, pay button, like, oh my God, what did I just do? Did I just throw $500, or did I just throw $3,000 down the drain, and, whatever. You have that moment, but we get to support people in that and say, hey, like, call that the white elephant out and be like, hey, like, is it a white elephant? The elephant in the room? I'm thinking about gifts now. Okay. I probably need to like take a break here pretty soon. It's been a long day so far. But we call the elephant out in the room and we say, like, I know you're about to have a mini freak out moment here. And that's okay. I want you to know that I'm here and I'm holding space for you. And I promise you, as long as you're ready and willing to show up here and to give it your all, I've got you. And we're going to do some amazing things together over this next 6 months or this next year. And you will not walk away as the same person that you are right now. And that can be scary, but it can also be really, really empowering, right? So we're giving people that opportunity to believe in themselves and to invest in themselves. And you're also giving people a pathway to solving this problem, like we said, to the transformation that they are craving, that they want. And they need somebody, your people need somebody to lead them. Okay. Not to just sit on the sidelines and like wait for people to come to you. As nice as that would be, again, that's just not the case now. So they need a leader, right? They need somebody to lead them and to serve them and to invite them and to say, hey, like, come on over here, like sit at our table. Like, look what we're doing over here. This is incredible over here. You are the energy that they are buying. So when you are like, ooh, when you're nervous, when you're shy, when you're timid, when you're not quite sure, and think about it, if you have two people and you're like, their programs both look really good, but one person is kind of like, oh, yeah, like, come on in, like, okay. And then you have the other person that is just like, yeah, heck yeah, let's go, let's do this. Come on in. Like, we are so excited to have you. Let's go. Here's what we're going to do together. Like, obviously, you're going to pick the person with the energy that you feel safe with. And we feel safe when when we feel like people have got us. So I would do a little reflection on that too and think about, okay, what does it feel like when I feel like somebody's got me? And how can I emulate that in my sales and in my business and when I'm delivering to my clients? Okay. So let's go to, and this is just what I was talking about. So the energy, right? It's your energy. Belief versus proof is in your energy. So it's not that you need like 100 testimonials or a bunch of screenshots. What you need is to believe in your offer and believe in yourself and your work, even if you have no even if you have no clients yet. And again, this is what I went over this specifically in the Zero Cling Sales Challenge, and I always go back to that. It's a really good challenge. If you haven't, I'll drop it in the link. I think, or I'll drop the link for you in all of the follow up stuff. But it's really really good to detach from everything in what you do inside of sales and launching, okay? And the strongest CTA that you can possibly share is, here's why I know this is how this is going to help you. Here's why I know that this is going to be transformative for you. Here's why, like, I know I can help you. So, like I said, I'll drop that Zero Cling challenge. It's totally free. It's all on Telegram, and you can kind of just listen to it like a podcast. There's just a bunch of audios that I dropped in, all on like having proof, or have like believing in yourself versus having proof. So again, you don't need like, I know so many people are like, oh, when I have 10 clients, then that's when I'll start to feel really confident. Or when I have, I don't know, 5 really good testimonials, then I'll start to feel really confident. It's like, no, you get to feel confident right now. Even if you have 1 client, even if you have 0 clients, you get to feel confident now, because that's what's going to bring those 10 clients that you're waiting on to feel a certain way. That's what's going to feel. So it feels like backwards, right? But that's what's going to bring them to you essentially. Okay. And then we talked about showing up unapologetically. Now, unapologetically means there's no thoughts of like, I'm going to be annoying. I don't want to like step on anybody's toes. It's so uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable unless you make it uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable when you bring all of those assumptions that we talked about at the beginning to the table. Your job is not to be in anybody's wallet or in anybody's bank account. Your job is simply to share what you do, how it helps people, the transformation, and the investment. That's all. And we don't make it mean anything. If people are like, oh my God, how, that's so expensive or whatever, that's fine. In my eyes, my coaching is a deal. Like, there's coaches out there that are charging a lot more than I'm charging. So that's fine. If you feel like, I wouldn't say this like on a sales call or anything, but internally, I'm like, that's totally fine. If you feel that this is too expensive, or that it's not in your budget right now, or it's not a priority for you right now, that's totally fine. I am here when it is and when you're ready. I'm totally detached, right? So your people are really waiting for somebody to go first and to, like we said before, to lead them. So we want to be that really, really powerful force, and not powerful, not pushy powerful, not like that, but just powerful in what you believe about your work. So we don't need to shrink, we don't need to soften anything, or like saying things like, using the phrase like, well, only if you want to, or, oh, like, how do you feel about this? Or, oh, let me see if I can like adjust, this for you to make it work. Like, how much do you want to pay? You guys, these were all things that I said in the beginning of my business. I literally was like, how much do you want to pay? Like, don't do that. I don't do that anymore, but I'm also now able to show up more unapologetically because I'm so anchored in my work, and I'm anchored to the person that you're going to be when you leave any of my spaces, whether it's a 1 day in Voxer, or a group program, or my mastermind, or one-to-one. Like, I'm just very much anchored into that, and I believe so deeply in it. So you get to be the expert, and you get to lead with that energy, right? So you don't have to hide what you do. You don't have to hide behind vague messaging, or not wanting to step on anybody's toes, or not wanting to offend anybody. You just get to be you. And what we're going to do now is we're going to normalize consistently selling. So take a second. If like you peed your pants a little bit, you're like, oh gosh, like, just let it settle. And we're going to, regulate the nervous system around selling by doing the work that we've talked about up until this point in our call today. We're going to normalize inviting people. We're going to normalize like moving as if our offers are all sold out, right? And remember, sales is not about getting anything. It's not about you like trying to like stack your bank account or like get anything. It is about giving and offering this opportunity to your people. Okay. You're again giving your people a pathway to that transformation. And I'm going to highly suggest here, this is not in the doc, but I'll add it in there. I'm going to highly suggest setting a monthly goal for yourself. And this is probably going to be a little awkward or a little uncomfortable. And this would be another great thing if you're open to it and you want to drop this in the after you go through this little exercise that I'm about to share with you. You can drop it in Telegram and I can help you kind of hash it out. But you're going to start in order to set a monthly goal. And this is something that I've just recently started doing. So I'm excited to share this with you. So the first question at whatever, however you want to do this, it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the month. It just needs to be some time where you're going to be able to measure. So I am selling. You just fill in the blank. What's the offer? And if you have multiple offers, you'll do this for multiple offers. Okay. So I am selling blank. So fill in the blank. This is perfect for. Then explain, like describe the person that it's perfect for. You probably, especially like if you've been doing the work in this program, you probably know really clearly who it is. You don't need to like drop like a 10-page Google Doc there. Just summarize it. This is perfect for the woman who is growing her business, wants to take on more clients, and is looking to spend the summer digging into her messaging. Perfect. So I'm selling my mastermind. This is perfect for, I just described in a sentence or two who it's perfect for. And then the next question is, this is where I'm getting my leads from. So where are these people coming from? And you might be like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. Where are they coming from? But just take a second, take a breath. Like again, deep breaths, regulate that this is safe and it's okay to go out into the world and talk about your offer. But where are you getting your people from? Where in the past have you gotten your people from? Maybe it's from a Facebook group. Maybe it is from personal conversations. Maybe it's from clients that you have worked with in the past and would like to invite them back in. Maybe it's referrals to just kind of map out like, where can I find these people? They might be hot, they might be warm, they might be cold. It's okay. Just where are they at? Because we want to make sure that that's where we're at. And then we're going to create the last part of this is to create a measurable goal that you can quantify to move towards the initial goal. Oh, I guess the goal isn't in here. So the goal would go with I am selling blank and I would like to sell blank many of these this month. So I am selling my mastermind. I would like to fill like, I don't know, 3 spaces this month inside my mastermind. So there's a goal. All of these quantifiable goals should move you towards that initial, like, I want 3 more people in this goal. So the measurable goals might sound something like this. So I am going to build a list. Now, this at first I was like, what list? Your list of people that you would love to have inside this program. Again, maybe they're hot, maybe they're cold. Most likely, you're going to start with your hot people or your warm people, and then you go to the cold people. We always should be starting with the hot and the warm, anyways. So you might need to actually build out a list of these people, of your hot, warm, and cold people that would be a perfect fit for this offer because you've already identified it's perfect for this person. Okay. And you also know kind of where they should be because we already identified that as well. So that could be one thing. I'm going to simply build my list because that's going to help me move towards this 3-person in my mastermind goal. It might be something like I'm going to reach out to 10 people per week, I guess. Yeah, per 10 people or per day if you want to get really, I'm going to reach out to 5 people per day and intentionally talk about this offer, share this offer, see if they want more information about this offer. Another one could be I'm going to show up and sell this 5 times this week in my stories. Okay. Another one could be I'm going to create 3 pieces of content around this offer. But also you want to So this is really going into like nitty-gritty sales stuff, but you also want to make sure that you're balancing these things, the things that you're quantifying to move towards the goal. You want to balance them with both inbound and outbound. Inbound, we could do a whole training on this too. Inbound is considered things that you create on the back end that you are doing, and then you put them out into the world, and then you wait for someone to click it or to like it or to buy it or to whatever, reach out about it. Inbound is things like creating content, it's things like sending out an email, it's things like creating a podcast episode, it is creating stories where you're selling. Outbound is where you're going out, what I just described before. I'm going to reach out to 5 people per day. That is outbound. That is me going out and actually talking to people, having conversations with people, starting new conversations. So you want to balance it, because we tend to want to go with the inbound stuff because it's easier and it's safer. Like you're just doing something on the back end and then you put it out and then you wait and you don't really have to do anything. Like you wait for somebody to click it or buy it. And again, we talked about in the beginning how that's not really the case. How nice it would be if we did create a post, throw it out into the world, and then people just started buying. That doesn't happen unless you have a really, really established brand. And that an established brand, it takes a lot of time, right? So there's another training idea. How to establish your brand, right? How to build your brand. So those are some examples of what those goals might look like. So I would highly, highly recommend that you use this little like set a monthly goal. So I'm going to repeat the questions one more time. So I am selling blank and I want to sell X amount of them this month. This blank, whatever it is, this offer is perfect for fill in the blank. So just a sentence or two. It doesn't have to be super, super detailed, but enough that you are aware and clear on who this unicorn ideal client is. This is where I'm getting my leads from. So saying where they're going to come from, like where they're hanging out, where are they at? Here are my measurable, and I would say try to do 5 of them. Here are 5 measurable goals that I can quantify to move towards that initial goal. And these are things like I'm going to start building my list. I'm going to add 5 people to my list every day. I'm going to reach out to 5 people every day, or 10 people every day, or 30 people every month, whatever that looks like. I am going to schedule at least 8 sales calls, and I'm going to hope to close at least 2 of them. I am going to invite at least, I don't know, 10 people per week onto a call or onto a discovery call with the intention of talking about this offer. I'm going to show up and sell 5 times in my stories. I'm going to create content 3 times this week around this specific offer. Those things are all quantifiable. They all have numbers next to them so we can actually gauge, like, did I do this? Did I not? And if not, then we look at, okay, well, what is distracting you? What is taking you away from these focused like goals that are going to move you towards the bigger goal? So, okay, let's all take a deep breath. Everybody good? Thumbs up if we're good. I'm going to assume that everybody's good. This is a lot. And again, you might want to like come back and revisit this too. Okay, so let's go into conversations that don't feel icky, right? So, what we're not going to do, what I will never ever tell you to do, I will never tell you to like copy and paste some script. I will never like have you like going out into random people's inboxes and asking random questions out of nowhere, pitching your offer. Like we're not doing that. We don't do that. It doesn't feel good. And if you go back to that question about like, have you ever been sold to and it felt icky? Why? That's probably why. And I'm all about, I've talked with some of you about this too. Like our businesses are built on relationships, whether that's a core value of yours or not. I know every single person that's here right now, or that's catching the replay, or that has been in any of my spaces is very relationship centered. Like that is a core value in your business. Whether you list it out or not, it is. Like we are doing this to help people, to make an impact, not to make a ton of money. We get to make a ton of money doing that, but that's not what it's initially about, like in your heart. So relationships become a key part of what we do. And that's why these things like these cold DMs and this like spray and pray type strategy, that's why it feels really icky. And again, remember, we get to decide what feels icky or what feels icky for us on the consumer end. And we get to say, I'm not ever going to make anybody feel like that. And here's how I'm going to talk you through how we do that, like how we make sure that we don't do that. And it's we lead with building a connection and building a relationship. So, finding things that are in common with this person, complimenting this person, sharing what you do, again, unapologetically. So, sharing what you have, what you do, and then I wouldn't right away, like I wouldn't pitch the offer in that space, but I would either pitch a conversation that's going to happen either on a call, on a telephone call, on a Zoom call, or in the DMs and just say, hey, like saying something like, hey, like, can we chat about what it could look like to possibly work together or to mutually support each other if it's a partnership and you're collaborating? Um, let's chat. Like I would love to hear what you have going on. I would love to hear what's a priority for you right now. I would love to hear um what is top of mind for you right now or what projects you currently have going on and how I might be able to support you in that. That doesn't feel icky. That feels like a genuine, like, I really want to know about you. And I mean, for me, and I know for all of you guys too, that's truly what it is about. Like, I just want to know about you. I want to know what you have going on. I want to know what you're struggling with. And then if I feel like I can help, like it's like the whole Tylenol thing. If I have the Tylenol in my purse, I'm going to share it. Like I'm going to talk to you about it and I'm going to create that pathway for you to make a really powerful decision to say, yes, this is exactly what I need and exactly what I want. So we're leading with curiosity and we're letting it just be a conversation, not a pitch. Okay. Um, and then inside, I'm going to share this with you. There is a lot in this session today. So inside the document here, so I'm going back to the doc. Let me just find it on my screen. I have this was from a masterclass that I did a while ago. It's called "What the Fuck Do I Say in the DMs?" And this is from there, but it's really, really helpful. So if we go down to the initiating conversations part, so it's time to start seeing yourself as a leader. And we talked about what leadership looks like inside your business. So does your future self who is running a multi six figure business hesitate to tell people about what she does or how you help or owning it? Like, no, she's starting conversations and she's really proud and excited to share what she does. So that's who you get to be today. It's your turn to take the lead and be the authority because you believe, again, you're so anchored to what you do in your work that you know you're meant to make an impact and you can't do that without talking about what you do. That's just a fact. Okay. We're not cold pitching ever. We're not doing any of that. So when you go out into, I call it like the wild, wild west, right? When you go out to, find your people and start conversations, whether that's at a networking event, whether that's on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're heading, you're going to find something that you have in common with them and someone you just want to have a drink with at happy hour. I've had the most success with this. Like, would I hang out with this person? Like, would I go have a drink with her? Yes, I would. Find someone you just genuinely want to get to know or something you find interesting about this person. And then these are some conversation starters. And you can tweak these. You can literally like copy and paste them, but just tweak them so they're yours. Like, make it sound like you're talking. And you're, of course, always going to personalize them. So this message here is for someone that you just are like curious about. You just want to like get to know them, have happy hour with them. So it says, hey, hi, name, whatever. So nice to meet you and connect here on Instagram. I love, and then you compliment them or compliment something that they do or something about their work or whatever it is. I see that we both, so you're finding something that you have in common. And this could even be as simple as I see we both have businesses. I see we were both former teachers. I see we're both moms. I see we're both moms running businesses. This is so cool. I would love to hear more about, and then something related to what you do. So don't say like, I would love to hear more about the weather, because that's not going to really get you anywhere, right? Like, I would love to hear more about your business and how long you've been in business and like how you even started this thing that you do that seems super cool. That's a really genuine conversation. It is not spray and pray. It is you've done a little bit of research to compliment them, to find something they have in common. The next one is for someone who follows you. So if you get a new follow, hi name, thank you so much for following me here on my little Instagram world or LinkedIn world, whatever. I'm so excited to connect. I would love to hear what resonates with you. That person would go on my list. We talked about list building a tad before. This person would go on my list so I can swing back around and just check in case she doesn't respond. And then the next one, this is someone who liked or engaged with a post or content. Hi, name. Thanks so much for the support on my post. I really appreciate it. What do you think about blank? And you're going to put something related to what you posted. Okay. So these are very, very intentional, very strategic, relationship based conversations. Okay. And again, you can just copy and paste those and tweak them, make them yours. I have these in a document. And I always, you guys, I'm always like, if you can send a voice note instead of a typed out one, I always think that that is more, I don't know what the word would be. I don't know. I just like when I get voicemail or voice messages from people because it kind of like I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh, it's a real person. Oh, she like I can hear her tone, I can hear her the cadence in her voice, like, whoops, I can hear like what she's I can kind of like feel her energy essentially. Okay, so then from there, we're going to keep talking about conversations. I should have put this slide in the beginning, but that's okay. So before you step into any conversation with anyone, or when you're inviting people, or you're going out to do those things, those quantifiable goals that you set to move you towards that sales goal, you can do a little check-in with your mindset here, and these are some of my favorite ones. So number one is, I know I can powerfully help and serve this person in either way the show's going to go on. So like we said before, you're going to do your thing, you're going to go, you're going to move, and if this person like just says yes, says no, says maybe, whatever she says, like it doesn't matter. You're still going to keep moving, you're still going to keep helping women or your people, men, whoever it is that you help, and you're like, the show's going to go on, you're going to go. So it's up to them if they want to come with you or not. The second one is visualizing the magic that you're going to create together and where she is after she works with you. So taking just a second to like tap into, okay, let me just like picture this person. I know I want to work with her, and like, let me visualize in my head what it feels like once we've worked together for a little while and we've started to do this thing that I know that I can help her do, and I'm like getting the Voxer messages from her, and she's saying, "Oh my gosh, like I can't believe I just did that, and I can't believe it worked, and oh my gosh, I just got another client." Like taking a minute to tap into that before you go message anybody or before you do any of this work. And the next one is their response or lack thereof. So maybe they ghost you. That's part of the game. We normalize that around here. Their response literally means nothing about you, about your business, or about what you're able to create. And the next one is trust the timing. I trust the timing of this. And my audience, my people know what's best for them right now. And they know that like maybe this is a really busy time for them. Maybe them coming into the mastermind is not the right time for them now. Maybe their kids are home from summer, maybe they're traveling. They know what's best for them, and they're going to come back or they're going to come around when the time is perfect for them. So again, if somebody says no to me, I am not like, oh my gosh, like this is so awful. I'm such a bad person. Like, no, I'm just like, okay, the timing, maybe the timing is not right now. And that gets to be okay. And my heart and my arms are open when she is ready to come in. And the last one, if it's a no, that's okay. It's just space for someone who is that unicorn, better fit, like perfect fit client. So those are the mindset things. Now, one thing that you can do while you're launching too, and you can do this before you even launch, is to offer your space or whatever it is to offer to clients that you currently have or that are in current spaces that you are running. So kind of giving them a little heads up like, hey, I have this offer coming up. I'm super excited about it. We're going to be working on this, and this. And I mean, it like you can actually, you'll see in here, there's like copy and paste stuff in here for you to take. Um, you'll see in just a second. But what was I just saying? Oh, I'm really excited about this offer. Here's what we're working on. I know the last time that right now we're currently working on this, and this would be a great like supplement, addition, extension to that thing that we're working on right now. And then personal invites, I think we've talked about this before, but reaching out from a place of confidence, not desperation. So again, you're going to want to personalize this. Um, Phrases like this made me think of you, or I just thought of you, not because you're just saying it because like you want to say it or like you're just trying to think of something to say, but actually genuinely saying it and saying it because you mean it. I actually really thought of you. Like, I have this offer coming up. This made me think of you. I know the last time we talked, you were talking about working on this, and this could really be a good fit for you. Let me know if you want more information on this. And I'm happy to share that with you and we can go from there. That is not coming from a place of desperation or a place of pressure or of like, I needing you to say yes to validate me. It's the opposite of that. It's just creating a personalized invite. And I know for me, on the other end of that, when I'm on the other end of a personalized invite, I feel really special and I feel really like touched. Like, oh, she like thought about me. She cares about me. Like, but I also tap into the energy too. Like, you can tell when people are not being genuine, and you don't have to, like, you get to be genuine. You are all really genuine women here. So, yeah. And then just personalize it, mirror what they want, not what you want, right? So, thinking about why this would be a good fit for them and why this offer, how it could help them move towards their goal, not what I want. Like, it's not about me wanting to sign, 3 people this month and I'm going to say and do anything that I can to get them in there. No, it's truly about mirroring what they want, right? And what their goals are and what they're working towards. We also always want to use a permission based approach. So we're not just sending out like, I wouldn't, even all the things that I just said, the scripts that I'm using, I would never ever say like, I wouldn't say that and then say, here's the link, go like click it and buy it. I'm going to say something like, do you want me to send the details over? Let me know if you want more info and I'll send it your way. So I'm asking permission first, and that kind of makes it feel, I think, a little less icky too. And we're going to follow up with belief in your work and how you can help them, not from a place of like begging. I know nobody would ever like do that, but we don't want to beg. It wouldn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be on the either end of somebody that's begging, right? Like, I'm thinking about my kids who are like begging me for like, can we please go to Jamba Juice? I'm just like, no. It doesn't feel good for anybody. Like, I don't want to say no and they're mad. I don't know. You get it. So we're not begging. So here's some examples. I think I showed you these before. They're genuine, they're personalized. I was having a conversation with this person, and she was telling me what she was working on this summer because I had asked specifically what you got going on. What are you launching next? Just because I was curious. I'm like, what do you have? Like, what's happening? Not again from a place of like anything other than I just was curious. And then I was like, I said something like, OMG, the juggling act is real. I think she's talking about being, yeah, mom over the summer, right? Then what's your new offer? And then I said, and speaking of, I'm running a new mini group program. I think this was for Launch Like a Boss. And then you can see at the end here, and again, you can copy and paste this, you guys. Let me know if you want more info. I didn't just send her the link. I said, let me know if you want more info. I always say, and I always hope you know, I love having you in my spaces and working with you. So I think this was somebody that I had worked with in the past before. And I think she got back to me and she was like, oh my gosh, Sandy, that's so awesome. Best of luck. Right now is not a great time for me. I'm already overwhelmed. I've already got a lot of other commitments going on. Okay, perfect. So moving on to the next. These are just some more examples of people that I reached out to with a personal invite. And you'll have this script so you can go through. I'm not going to read them to you, but just so you know too, let me see, who was this one for? I think out of these 3 messages, one of these people actually ended up coming into the offer. So again, you can see 33%. I sent 3 messages out, one of them signed up. I'm gonna call that a win, right? Like, you could look at it either way. You could be like, "Oh, 2 people didn't come in," or you can be like, "Oh my gosh, 1 person came in. If I didn't send any messages, nobody would have come in," right? So here are your scripts that you can, again, copy and paste from this, from the slides, and you're obviously, of course, going to tweak them to make them feel more like you. And you can do that however you want. But This one is to someone you've spoken with in the past. So, and you could too, if you have like a story slide with like the offer information on it, or like the name, whatever, the transformation on it, you would send that story to them, or I would send that story to them and just like say it with something like, "Hi, first name, I'm getting ready to launch this offer, or this offer is available if you're in the middle of the launch, and I thought of you. I know the last time we talked, you said you wanted more support around da 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 when creating da 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 outcome, and I thought of you, and I think this would be an amazing fit. Let me know if you want details. I'm happy to even lay out what the next couple of weeks or months inside that offer could look like, and we can just go from there." Um, Again, somebody like, if I had have seen this script when I first started like coaching, I would have been like, "Oh my gosh, that's way too much. It's way too like forward. It's way too it's like ugh, like it's just too much." You guys, you are business owners now, and you have to be able to anchor to your work and what you do in the transformation. Once you do that, this does not become too much. This becomes like, "Oh my gosh, I truly understand you. I see you, and I'm available here to help you when you're ready to come into this." So just keep that in mind if you're like, "Oh, this is a little too much." All of these scripts are a little bit they're kind of similar, but they're a little bit tweaked. This is to someone who you're currently working with. So somebody that's inside a current offer for you now. So, "Hey, I wanted to reach out because I actually have another offer coming up and I think you would be an amazing fit. I know we've been working together on this, and I could definitely see us continuing to work on refining or building whatever XYZ on your way to creating." We're always going to put the outcomes in there because that's what people are buying, the transformation, right? You would also be getting X type of bonus or this price point for securing your spot early. Let me know if you want details. So always asking for permission. And then again, I love this sentence. "I'm happy to even lay out what the next 4 weeks or the next 6 months could look like. And then we can go from there." And then the next one is, "Hi, name. How are you?" This is just someone you've worked with in the past. So maybe somebody that was in one of your spaces and she or he has left, and you want to swing back around and see, last time we were working on this, you already know this person. They already know you. They already trust you. So again, it's your job to describe what the transformation is. That is on you to paint the picture of why this offer is going to be so amazing. Okay. So then when people reach out to you, and if you're a person, I remember when I first started thinking about this, I was like, that doesn't happen to me. Nobody reaches out to me. Like, my audience is really not reaching out to me. It will come. You keep showing up and you keep doing your thing and you keep, showing up authentically as you and owning your work and tweaking as you go and adding just a little bit more here and there. People will begin to reach out. I promise you. The only way that they won't is if you just stop or like you fall off the wagon and then you kind of go cold and it's like people don't know what's going on. And this is not to say that you have to show up every day. It's not to say that like when life lives, you got to step away for a bit. But in the beginning, you do need that sense of consistency, and people need to hear you repeating yourself over and over and over again. Um, and that gets to just be okay. It's just part of the process. So when people begin to reach out, or when people are already reaching out to you, remember we had talked about a couple calls ago the different types of offers. So there's outcome focused offers and there's close proximity offers. The outcome focused are things like memberships, masterclasses, challenges, mini group programs, and the close proximity are things like masterminds, mini minds, longer term offers, and one-to-one coaching. They can be time sensitive or evergreen, it doesn't matter. But for these outcome focused types of offers, what you're going to do is, whoops, wrong one. You're going to just send the link over in details. These types of offers you don't really need to like vet people because they are outcome focused. They're coming in, there's a set like thing, you're probably most likely leading or guiding it or teaching on something. You don't really need to vet people and make sure that they're like a right fit for this. It's more of like, okay, here's the link. So you're going to send the link. You're going to say, "Let me know if you have any questions." And then after a day or two, if they don't respond or if they don't sign up, "Hey, name, just wanted to see if you need anything from me. Let me know." and just kind of bumping it up. And even if you wanted to another day or two afterwards, if you wanted to reach out again, hey, so and so, we're starting tomorrow. Just wanted to make sure you didn't miss this. I know things always get buried in my inbox, and I appreciate like the extra reminder. Hope to see you inside, and then leave it at that. Now, for close proximity offers, these are going to be a little bit different because you do most likely want to vet the people that are coming into this. Like, I know for my mastermind, I do not let anybody inside. Like, you can't just go click a link and buy and come in. Like, no way, because I'm very, very protective of that space and it's for a very, very specific person. And I want to make sure that they're the right fit. Same with like one to one coaching. I don't think that you would I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to sign up for one-to-one coaching without me ever having a conversation with them or like knowing a little bit about their business or their situation. So in order to do that, if somebody like people will reach out to me sometimes and say like, "Hey, can I get a little bit of information or can I get some information on your mastermind? It looks really interesting." So I'll say something and I put these in order. So like this is number 1 for close proximity. So I would say, "Hey, name, I'm so excited you're interested in the mastermind. Tell me a little bit about what you are where you are right now in regards to." I would say something your business. If it's some like it could be in regards to your fitness or your weight loss journey, in regards to burnout, in regards to your current job situation, like whatever you coach around, what your goals are and what kind of support you're looking for. And then we can go from there. I would always do, again, voice notes are always, always better. Not better. There's no better, but I prefer doing voice notes over writing it out. If I'm in a spot where I can only type it out, then I'll do that. But I really like to send voice notes when I can. And then number 2 after that, so they're going to come back to you and they should answer those questions for you. You're going to reflect back to them what they said and what you would be working with them on inside the offer and why. So it would sound something like considering that, or like it would sound something like, "Oh my gosh, like this is incredible. I love that you are currently working on growing your business. You've already had like, whatever, however many you've already had 3 clients and I'm sure like they know what a great coach you are and now you're really looking to grow this business and get more clients so you can leave your 9 to 5 job. That sounds amazing and I love that you have this goal for yourself of doing that within the next year." Considering that and what you've said, inside the mastermind, this is exactly what we work on. We work on mapping out a plan to do exactly that, to grow your business. We look at things like offer suite. We look at your sales process, your launching process, your content, your outbound, all of these things. And considering that, I think you would be an amazing fit for this offer. So if you're ready to get started, I can go ahead and send over the details with the investment options and we can go from there. And this is where I would send over what the investment would look like. I sell from a Google Doc, so don't like panic if you don't have a sales page. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But then you would go ahead and send the link with the information. If she says, "Yeah, that sounds great," send the link with the info. "Here's all the info. Let me know what questions you have." And then we can go from there. And she'll go in, she'll look at it. If you don't get a response, you're going to follow up after 48 hours and just say something like, "Let me know if there's anything you need." And we're always going to assume that they got sidetracked. We're not going to go to worst case scenario of like she opened the doc or the sales page and she saw the investment. She, keeled over and told her partner, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe anybody would charge this much for this." Like, we're not going to assume any of that. Like, your brain like will start to spiral. We don't assume that. We just assume that they got sidetracked, just like you do all the time. I can't tell you how many times I started text message with, "OMG, I thought I responded to this. I responded in my head, but I definitely didn't send it." Like, how many times have you done that? We all do that. We're all like inundated with so much stuff going on. So don't assume the worst. Just assume that she probably got sidetracked. She probably meant to, do the thing or follow up or ask the question. And she just was like, this is a nice little reminder for her. So here's also some follow up scripts too. "Hi, name. I just wanted to follow up on this because the price is going up tomorrow. If you have like a time, if you're doing a launch phase with price phases, that would be a really great thing. If you're in a current conversation with someone, like, because again, I would want a reminder if the price is going up $100 tomorrow and I can get in today, I'm going to get in anyways. Like, I would appreciate that. And then the next one, "I just wanted to follow up on this because we kick off on, I don't know, Monday. Let me know if there's anything you need. I would love to have you." and just leave it at that. You get to let them, again, assuming that they know what's best for themselves. Now, talking about the sales page and the Google Doc. So I've had some of you like, and I've had this before too, where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a sales page. So I'll wait until I have my sales page and then I'll start selling. You don't need a sales page to sell anything. Okay. You can sell from a Google Doc. This is basically how I sell my mastermind. I'm going to share with you inside this doc, inside the Google Doc, there are okay, I'll come back to this in just a second, but there are examples. If you scroll down to Google Doc versus sales page, is also over here on the left hand side tab. We're just not going to let this slow you down or hang, like you get hung up on this. So there's no waiting until I have a sales page. There's no, I'll sell this when, the sales page is complete or the landing page or whatever it is. You're just going to move and you're going to build it out as you go. So I put some examples in here. This is my mastermind example. It's in a Google Doc. You just click on that and you can open it. You can make a copy of it. You can see it, whatever. But I'm selling the mastermind. Like it's sharing who it's for, what we work on, what the types of things we are that we work on, the vibe inside, the modules, so the logistical things, the investment options, and what it includes. So it's pretty basic. I mean, this isn't like a sales page. I did also too, there's a one-to-one coaching example doc here too that you can kind of see what that looks like in a Google Doc. I'm basically, this needs what I would include. So this is just the investment options. What I would also do, I'm going to actually write myself a note here. What I need to include here is like something that says this is for you if. So like just copying, pasting my content blocks from my one-to-one coaching. It's probably going to most likely be the same as my mastermind because they are similar people, but I might go in there and tweak it a little. The one-to-one difference might be she's just wants to put her head down. She wants customized support. She needs to like put her blinders on because she gets really distracted when she sees what other people are doing. And that's totally fine. So this would be a better fit for her. Now, I put a little disclaimer here. These are old and they need to be updated. So anything on these two examples here, this goes to my website. When my website was geared, and it still is because I just haven't gotten around to like switching it, but like it's geared towards teachers. So it just needs to be updated. But again, I'm not letting that stop me. I'm not thinking like in my head, oh my God, I can't sell my mastermind because what if somebody lands on my website and they see this and then they're confused? Like I'm gonna sell it no matter what. And if somebody lands on that and has questions about it, then that's fine. Same with the one-to-one coaching. This is old and it also needs to be updated, but it's here and you can kind of just see an example of like what it could look like for you. But again, like what I would say, I put little stars under like things to include. You definitely, no matter what, want to include the transformation. Okay. You want to include who it's for and who it's not for, and be as specific as you can in regards to what level they're at. So this is going to like have you avoiding a lot of like headache into the program if you can identify what level they're at. And now let me give you an example of this just so I'm super clear. I'm going to use the example of the teacher when I first, like I was talking about before, when I first started coaching, I was working with teachers and I was like, I'm going to help teachers leave their teaching job. They want to leave their teaching job. They're burnt out. So I'm going to help them do that. Well, what level is she at? Okay. Is she somebody that is still a teacher and she like dreams of leaving the classroom, but she hasn't actually done anything to do that? And like, she hasn't even like expressed that she wants to leave. Like, it just seems like a dream to her. Is she somebody that's already like kind of doing some research to be like, what else could I do out there instead of teaching? Is she somebody that has actively already decided, I am leaving at the end of the school year and I need help to do that? Is she somebody that's maybe like on the fence? She's like, oh, is she like, does she maybe want to leave? Does she maybe not want to leave? Like there's all these different if you think about your ideal client on like a continuum, there's all these little spots that they can be on. And so you got to really like nail in where is my person and then be specific to that. That's another great thing in Vox or in Telegram that we can definitely talk about if you want to. You definitely need to include the logistics. So, or it would be a breakdown of the modules, the pricing and payment options. I think that those 4 things could be bare minimum. Like if nothing else, you have those things on a Google Doc, you send that over and they have the information that they need. Okay? All right. Oh, and let me just really quickly, this is related, but it's also not related. There is this section inside here. If you go down to asking strategic questions and leading, these are meant for, they can be used in actual conversations and they can also be used in DM conversations. And just keep in mind for outcome focused offers, like there you're going to see below, but for close proximity offers, you're probably going to want to talk to them at some point. So you wouldn't like I might close a mastermind client in the DMs if I'm doing like a voice note back and forth and she seems really like responsive and like I get a good feel for it, but for her, but otherwise this whole chart, this is like the teacher that came out that's coming out in me. So you can kind of read through this, but it's basically about guiding conversations that you're having both in the DMs and in real life. So I basically have all of these scenarios on the left side. If this happens, try this. And there's like scripts and words that you can copy and paste. So if they don't respond after an initial conversation, if they don't respond after you shared the investment, that happens sometimes. When you have asked a question that they haven't answered, when they change their mind and they say they're in it now, and then they change their mind and back out. You guys, all of these scenarios, guess where they came from? They came from me, from these things have actually happened, and they happen often enough that they're on a dock for you now. Okay. So when they object, lots of like objections are part of the game. And I even put that over here. We welcome objections because any objection is a chance to understand a little bit better about what's actually stopping them from moving forward. So when they object around money, when they object around time, when they say they need to talk to a significant other, that was the one that I would get all the time, you guys. Oh, yeah, I totally want to do this. I got to talk to my husband though first. And I would be like, okay, no problem. That's great. Like, I love that you're being so considerate of your husband. But before you do that, I'm just wondering what you think he or she will say. What questions do you think they're going to have? Does he know how important this is to you? I just want to make sure that you have all the questions answered so that when you sit down to talk to him, you feel really confident in answering those questions and bringing this to the table because I know how important this is to you. What to say if they're giving you one word answers. Those are always fun. What to say if you've gotten yourself into the friend zone. It happens when you just kind of start talking about something random and then you're like so off track. You're like, how do I bring this back to my business and what I'm doing? When you want to pitch the call, when you're ready to pitch a call, when you want to pitch your services. There you go. All the scripts are right here. And when in doubt, what to do when in doubt, just add value. And there's some examples of what that could look like here. So this document can be really, really useful for you as you begin to navigate these sales conversations throughout your launching. Now, let me see here. And if anybody needs to leave, always feel free. You can hop off when you need to. Okay, so then selling through email. This was another big one. Oh, I should have just. Okay, in the doc, you'll have at the very bottom, you have examples of emails there. Again, you're free to copy and paste those and just tweak them to work for you and your offer, but they're there so you don't have to do any of the like heavy lifting. That sequence, I've shared it with you. I shared it with you before inside this program, but that was a sequence of emails that I sent when I sold my group program last summer, and I got really great responses, and I got quite a few people that in quite a few conversations and people that signed up from those emails. So feel free to use them. But the cadence of emails, of sales emails for me looks like this. And this is on a good day. This is on a good month. This is on a good like track where life is just going smooth and nobody's sick and nobody, nothing comes up randomly. So during the tease phase, all about the phases of your launch. And if you're doing phases, this is the cadence of the emails that I would send out. So I would send out 1 to 2 emails during that tease phase, just with heavy value, a lot of value, just providing something that's going to give them a win or a quick win. And obviously that pertains to what the offer is going to be about. And then at the bottom, I would say something about like, if this resonates with you, or if this is something you're working on, I've got something amazing coming on Wednesday or coming soon. Stay tuned. So you're kind of like planting that seed there. For pre-sale, I would do 1 email because pre-sale is about 48 hours. So 1 email within that 48 hours, it's a problem awareness email where you're pointing out a problem, you're saying why it's a problem and what needs to shift. You're announcing the offer, the end transformation, who it's for, and a solid CTA. So if you want to get in on this, message me on Instagram. If you want to get in during pre-sale, the lowest price it'll ever be, reply to this email. Whatever your CTA is going to be, just make sure that it's clear so they know exactly what to do. Okay. And then for pre-sale, you're going to, or you don't have to do anything, but you would send 1 email and it's the same as the pre-sale. You're just going to swap out the problem. So it's a different problem, but it's the same basically email, just a different problem. And then for early bird, you're going to email every other day. You're going to email possible outcomes, your story or your transformation about this offer, the story behind why you created it. If you have any client case studies, you're not doing all of these things in every email. You're just choosing like one of these things to focus on. And then what you'll cover and what you're going to support them in inside the offer, the end transformation, who it's for, and a solid, again, CTA. And then for regular pricing, again, emailing every other day with client case studies. You can really speak to objections here. And like kind of pre-handle them. So like you might think this is only for X, but it's actually for anyone who blank. Why they're not getting results and what they want and what needs to shift, the logistics of the offer, the end transformation, who it's for, solid CTA. And then 24 hours before, like a last minute, last call email, hey, you guys, we're starting tomorrow. I've even sent out, not necessarily emails, but I'll post like on Instagram, even like 30 minutes before I'll start like a masterclass. Hey, you still have time. Like, come on, get in 30 minutes. Like, come on. So those are going to be your emails through the launch. Again, no right or wrong. You can tweak this however works best for you. If you're like, I only have 2 launch phases and I just want to do 1 email for each, that's fine. But remember, it does not exist. The idea of like, I don't want to be annoying. I'm going to be annoying. People are going to think I'm annoying. That does not exist anymore. It is not a thing. You're simply sharing this transformation and giving people an opportunity to come in with you. So think about like Walmart and like Target. They send emails out every day. I think I got an email every day from Big Five. And I just delete them, but sometimes it comes in handy when I got to go to Big Five, right? But they're not feeling bad. They're not like, oh, I don't want to annoy people. They're selling. They're a business. You're a business too. But everything you do, the difference between us and Walmart is that we are very much heart centered and we are building relationships. And we do that through the words that we use here and our energy, right? I don't get like warm, fuzzy feelings from the Big Five emails ever. Okay, so we're almost done here towards the end of the launch. So this is where people tend to really like peter out and like, oh, like you're coming down. So I suggest halfway through your launch, like mark it on your calendar, like circle it, highlight it halfway through, and then a couple days before the end of your launch, check in with yourself. Okay. Check in with your messaging. Check in with how you're feeling. Check in with like, where are you at? Like, are you in the zone still? Are you like moving as powerfully as you were on like those first couple of days? Or are you starting to peter out? And if you're starting to peter out, like, you got to reconnect and be like, okay, I got to end this thing with like as much power and balls to the wall. Like, let's go. Let's do this. Let's finish this strong, regardless again of if anybody else comes in. But what I see often happen, and I've been here, like we just kind of, it peters out because you're like, oh my gosh, like we're right there. The finish line is right there. But if you can connect back to the why behind your offer and like why you created it in the first place, go back to the letter that you wrote to this person and then show up. Okay. Just check yourself and show up just as powerfully on that last day as you did during the first day. And if nothing else, you're going to be able to close the launch out and be like, I did everything I could. There's not going to be any part of you that's like wondering, like, gosh, if I had to like done that live stream, or if I had to have sent that last email, or if I had to have reached out to those people on those last couple of days, like how could the result be different? There's none of that because you're going to do it all. You did it all. And then you get to close that book, close that chapter and be like, damn, I gave it my all, right? So things that you can do towards the end are like live streams, Instagram lives where you're showing your face as often as you can, if possible. And you're talking about the offer, you're talking about how excited you are about it, you're talking about the transformation. You can go deeper in posts or messaging in your stories. And again, I always think showing your face is a really, really good thing just because it builds that trust and people want to see your face. So, okay. So that's wrapping up the launch. Now, I think that I think that that is it for the actual slides. Yeah. Okay. Woo. Okay. So we have been here. It's almost, I don't know what time it is. We've been here for a hot second. I just want to check in and see how you're feeling, whether you're here in person or you're on the replay. Just take a second and take a breath. This program was a lot. It was jam packed. It was a lot of information and probably a lot of information that's new to you. And it's stuff that I know that you're really excited about implementing, but it could feel a little bit daunting and a little bit overwhelming at first. So just taking a second to congratulate yourself, first of all, for making it here to the end of this mini group program. It for me has been an honor and a pleasure to share all of this information with you. And I'm really, really excited. I've seen in you guys, in the conversations that I've had with you, in the content that I've seen you post throughout this program, in the wins that you've had and that you've shared with me, I've seen some really, really incredible things happen. And it's not like anybody went through this whole launch like a boss, like to a T. It's never ever about that. It's never about doing everything exactly as I've laid it out here. It's about taking it and finding what works best for you, what feels good for you, and what works with you and your schedule and your life and the season that you're in, and letting that be enough to sell out your offers and letting it be easy to do this, letting the way that you show up and the way that you show up confidently and unapologetically, it just that's how it gets to be. So I know as you move on in your launch process, in your business, as you grow your businesses, as you take on more clients and you do these incredible things that you're doing, changing literally the world, that you get to come back to this program and you get to add, you get to continue to add on, you get to take things from the buffet, you get to tweak things, and you get to, excuse me, just continue to grow in this way. And I just want to recognize you all for showing up here, for being here, whether you're in the replay, on the live calls, what you did what you could, like it's all good. It is enough. And your clients and the world is so, so incredibly lucky to have you do this work and to have you pour into yourself and your business to get it out into the world. So thank you on behalf of your clients and the people that you touch every day. And now that you know, like now that you have all of this beautiful launch strategy in your pocket, I would love to invite you. You've heard me talk about it over the past 4 weeks, into my mastermind space. My mastermind space is ideal for women who are growing businesses and growing coaching businesses and service-based businesses, and who are working on launching, selling, offer suite creation, move it, like how to even become the go-to coach, how to nail down, what it is that you do and your transformation and your method and your framework, all of that stuff. And all of that stuff is really, really important. But it's also the energy behind it, right? And that's a big part of what we work on inside the mastermind. You can follow all of this strategy, even from just launch like a boss. You could follow it to a T. But if your strategy or if your heart and your mindset is not in the right spot, or there's just some sort of little part of you that doesn't quite believe yet, that's what we work on inside the mastermind. And what makes the mastermind space really, really special, and I feel like it's really a magical space, is that you don't just get me inside there. Like, it's not just about me coaching you, it is about the group as a collective. And I can 110% say that the women that are in there now are truly some of the most incredible women. And you get to hear, like, you get the behind the scenes of my business, of course, and everything that I'm doing, but you also get to hear the behind the scenes of their businesses, the things that they're working on, the way that they're launching things that's probably different than the way that I'm launching them, but still with a lot of strategy and a lot of heart. You get to hear how they handle tricky client situations, the things that are going on, and normalizing these things. You're welcome, Nermeen. Normalizing these things that are happening in their business. And it's just a truly, truly magical space. There's so much growth, so many wins that happen inside there daily. It is a beautiful space. So I would love to invite you. And as a Launch Like a Boss girl here, I'm happy to offer, if you would like to come into the mastermind. Um, Whatever the investment that you invested in Launch Like a Boss, we can take that investment and we can take it off of the mastermind investment. But you just have to sign up within 2 weeks of the end of this program. So that amount would come off of the overall investment. I love to offer that to my people and everybody that's in this program. I know you and I love you, and I already know that you would be an amazing fit for that mastermind space. So if it's something that you're like, "Oh, this sounds kind of interesting. I want to hear how more about it or how it works," you can absolutely reach out. I'm always open to questions. I'm always open to talking about it. And again, deciding if it's the right time for you, deciding if it's the right fit for you, deciding based on what your specific goals are. But now that you have this, that mastermind space is really where we get to dig in deeper to your launch process, your specific process, and what that can look like for your offers for your business, and also the messaging around it. And again, it's not just about me. Yes, I facilitate the space, and yes, I coach in that space, obviously, but it's really about the collective. And there's so much beauty in coming together to really just grow and learn and kick ass together. So please feel free to message me on Instagram. Also, I am going to do a giveaway at the end. I'll probably choose the winner next Friday. So all you have to do is share in the Facebook group, and there, you guys are a little bit quiet in the Facebook group, which is okay, but you have a really good chance of winning if you go post any ahas that you've had throughout the program, anything that you're taking with you, anything that has shifted for you. I would love to hear about it. And then the Telegram space is open until next Thursday. So anything that you've heard here, anything that you're working on, anything, just drop it in Telegram, and I'm happy to offer some coaching in there. So I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day, evening, week, morning, wherever this finds you. And I will see you all in Telegram. And thank you again for being here through this program. It has been such an honor, such a pleasure. And you guys are all just absolutely amazing. So I will see you soon. I love you all. Mwah.